Hey everybody, Miss Dietrich here, helping you to prepare for your Chapter 5 test on percents. We're looking at question number 31 from Go Math, page 216, which is very complex. It reads, Alex spent 25% of his money on a sports drink, then he spent 25% of the remaining money on trail mix. He had $9 left. How much money did Alex have to begin with? There's really two parts to this question. The first part is to kind of visualize what's going on with this 25%. So let's make sure that we all understand. If we draw a tape diagram, this might help us. If we have all of something, we have 100% of it. He spent 25% on the sports drink, so we might want to even label that. This is the sports drink. That means he's got 75% of his money left, which I have represented here in green. Now that's going to represent this part right here. It says the remaining money on trail mix. So this is the remaining money, and 25% of that, of this green box, he spent on the trail mix. So let's just put a little TM for trail mix so we know. Which means he's got 75% of the green box left, which we know to be equal to $9. Now the first thing we need to figure out is we need to figure out how much money did he have at this point right here, if we're going to talk about this entire box here. So 9 would be the part, and we need to figure out what that whole box would be. Again, that's this lower box. And we know that the $9 represents 3/4 of that amount. And we can go ahead and you take advantage of the fact that these two numbers are compatible. 3 times 3 would be 9. 4 times 3 would be 12. So we know that this whole box is $12. All right, so how are we going to use that? Because if we know that all of this is $12, how are we going to use that to figure out how much he started out with, which would be this box? So again, the 12 would be the part, and we're trying to figure out the whole. Now this 12 represents 3/4 of this amount. 75% left if you spent 25% is equal to 3/4. So let's plug that into the proportion. And again, we're lucky enough to have the numbers be compatible. 3 times 4 would be 12, so we just have to do 4 times 4 to get the value for W, which of course would be equal to 16. Now, using the tape diagram, you could see is probably the best way to go to wrap your brain around this very complex and difficult problem.